Welcome to our first episode of Mini Mics and Mini Chairs with Beneath the Data. I'm Kelly.
I'm Carly.
And we're going to be chatting about a ton of topics, but we thought we would start with some burning questions we tend to hear, and we're just going to chat about those. So first of all, we're going to talk about what is ABA? There's a lot of people that don't really even know what do we do.
Yeah.
So I always tell people it's like two components. We do behaviors, and so we work on those behaviors that are maybe not so great. We don't want to see them anymore, like your tantrums and your elopement, which is meaning a child running off, and we try to figure out why they do those things and give them better replacements. And then we teach new skills, so things that they may not know, those verbal behaviors or maybe social skills. Maybe we want them to learn how to play with other friends, so
or some adaptive skills.
Adaptive skills are great too. So that's kind of, I would say, ABA in a nutshell. So one of the things we see all the time, and you and I are both super passionate about this topic, is some people argue that ABA is not great. It's too compliance based. And we've even heard abusive. So we're going to talk about what we say to that. So I'm going to let you start, Carly. What do you say to that?
Sure. So here with Beneath the Data, we are not compliance based. We don't shoot for compliance based when we run therapy. We tend to follow the kids' lead. How can they play, and how can we teach them through that play? When we do deal with behaviors, we try to affirm those feelings, offer coping strategies to work through them so we can get back on track to where we were at.
Yeah, we focus on being what you call neurodiversity affirming. That's a catchphrase that you're going to hear coming into our ABA world, the autism spectrum community. We try to be what we call neuroaffirming. So that means we're not going to stop stems as long as they're not harmful. And of course, if it's something that needs shaping, we can look at that. Like, we certainly don't want to be in a store screaming. That's not good.
No, not fun.
But we can shape that to something more appropriate. And again, like we've talked about, we're not compliance based. We're not going to make somebody sit down for.
No, we're going to find them on the floor and play with them.
Right. We may work toward, like, I can see with our school readiness kids, like, we eventually want to be able to sit for certain amounts of time, but
certain
we're not
duration.
Force them to sit, and you can't have your tablet. You can't have this reinforcement until it happens.
No, and we offer choices. We want them to choose what they want to work on first when we have to come and sit at that table.
Right. So, so definitely, we're not compliance based like we used to be. So kind of jump into another question, along the same topic. What should families, ask when they're looking for an ABA provider, if they're looking for something that's more neurodiversity affirming?
Oh, number one, when they want that neuroaffirming, we want a clinic that always asks those questions. How do you respond to behaviors? What do you do when the behaviors are a little out of control? How do you handle it? How about parent training? Do you teach me what you do so I can do this at home?
We are so passionate about our parent training.
We sure are.
We have found, we can't do it without our parents.
Nope.
We have to teach them those skills, and we want them to know how to do what we do. And so,
I want to work myself out of this job. I want you to take over.
Yeah, I want you to be able to go on with your life and not have to stay in ABA therapy for years.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to.
We shouldn't have to do that. So I would say too, so you're looking for somewhere that would be my big question. Do you have parent training? Are you going to teach me how to do what you do? And then just somebody that's open and honest. We want them to be truthful about, hey, this is what's in your behavior plan. This is how we're doing what we're doing. When you pick up, your kiddo from therapy, will they tell you what they did the whole time? Or are they just going to tell you, oh, it's a great session? Are they going to give you all those details? And then just willing to answer anything? Are they willing to let you, find a way to participate in the child session if it's needed? So I think those would be our biggest, ask those things.
Oh, yeah. And how often is parent training? That's usually one that parents should ask, because maybe some providers offer a once a month kind of thing. We're really shooting for trying to get in every week. How can we teach you something that week to support your kid that we focused on in treatment?
Yeah, I've been super excited about what we've got planned for our parents.
Yeah.
We always go over our data. We always go over our plans, and we talk and we give them training material. But we've really been talking about, hey, there might be some parents that we need to be doing every week, a couple of times a week, going in home and working on those things. Like, how can we make it the best possible for their kiddo.
Oh, yeah. And parents should definitely ask if those plans are individualized. And I would even ask how. How is this plan made just for my kid? And let the analyst or RBT kind of explain why those protocols work for that client while we've chosen the goals that we've chosen and how we're teaching them.
Yeah. That leads us to our other question that we had written down was these misconceptions of ABA. Ooh, there's a ton. Like you and I could probably talk.
Yeah, we
all
could
day.
sit here for a while.
But that's one of them that we could talk about as far as it being individualized. I mean, there's not a one size fits all. It shouldn't be, you know, oh, you have a tantrum, you deal with it this way. You have, you know, aggression, you deal with it this way. Like everything has to be down to how your child responds to the function.
Yeah, what is that function for that kid and what tool is going to work best for your family?
Yeah, what's going on in your household? I mean, there's so many contingencies that play into making that behavior program that it's not going to be an easy answer.
Yeah.
We have to ask so many questions, and that's why we have to tell parents all the time, I'm not judging your parenting. I'm just trying to figure out what all variables am I working with.
Yeah, and sometimes we'll even go more in depth. When do you see those behaviors? What's going on for those behaviors, and how can we help you respond to those behaviors?
Yeah, for sure. And another thing is we're not here to change children's personalities. It's a huge misconception in ABA, right?
It is. We're just changing behaviors, and that's not somebody's personality.
Right. I'm not trying to take the autism out of them. I think our ABA as a whole is getting to the point where we realize that it's a neurodiversity where our brains are just formed different. So there's no amount of, you know, ABA therapy or anything that I can do that's going to make them less autistic. You know, I can work on those things so maybe they feel like they can function better in their world around them. They
give them new tools, better tools to do things.
We love to call things tools.
Yeah, I like tools. They move those bad tools to the back and the good tools to the front. Yeah.
Love a good tool belt.
Good tool belt.
So I think we really just focus on trying to help parents understand I'm not here to change who your child is.
No, just change those behaviors in each environment where they're being seen.
Yeah. And the other big misconception that we love to talk about here is those long hours.
Right?
Is it
long hours? 40 hours sometimes is recommended.
Yeah. And so getting back to, you know, for those viewing that don't really know where it comes from, back, you know, when ABA first kind of got started, it was the gold standard. We thought that it took that.
Yeah, the more services, the better maybe quality.
Right.
But we've kind of learned differently.
We've learned differently, and there's research now. There's
Absolutely.
a ton of research going into shorter sessions and how that's coming into our behavior plans, our progress, but we've seen it firsthand.
Oh yeah, quality over quantity. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and I've heard this too, and I, you know, want to make sure we discuss insurance providers. I've had parents tell me, well, I thought insurance didn't cover less than 25 hours.
Big misconception.
We are, and I can say misconception, and definitely for where we're located. We're in Alabama.
Absolutely.
We take a lot of insurance providers, United Healthcare, TRICARE, Medicaid, Blue Cross Blue Shield, all of these. And none of the ones that we work with have ever said that we had a minimum requirement.
Yeah.
We've never had issues getting our plans through. So we just always like to tell parents that, because there's some that just, especially with our younger kiddos, they really worry about that. And
yeah, those are really long hours. That's an adult job. 40 hours a week is a full-time job. And for a kid, that's a lot of demands. That drives you right into burnout. And that's for another topic.
Yeah, we can talk about that for all day too. But I think both being parents of neurodivergent children,
there's a limit.
It hits home with us.
There's a limit for kids. Absolutely.
So we just kind of like to clear that up. You can make a ton of progress with less, and any ABA provider should be willing to talk about that.
Absolutely. And supporting you through that parent training, because even if we have less hours, we're giving those parents those tools to do outside our clinic.
Yeah. It's all about balance and support, right?
Totally is. Everyone's got to work together. All stakeholders needs to be involved for all of this to work and move forward. Absolutely.
Right. Well, that's all the topics that we have for today. Now,
yeah, we touched on a lot.
I could go over things forever.
Yeah,
but we definitely want to encourage our viewers to, if you have questions, leave comments or send us messages. Let us know that what you're interested in, and
or choose a topic. Send us some topic ideas. We'd love to deep dive into something that maybe you want more information on.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for watching.
Great chat.